For more on this, I'm now joined by Helen Drake from Loughborough University in the UK. Hello, thank you very much indeed for your time. So we're expecting Theresa May to address MPs later this Monday. What can we expect her to say to try and persuade them to back the deal?
Oh, she's going to be sticking to the script that she's stuck to for some time and that she's refined over the last couple of days, which is about the national interest. She does very well normally in Parliament. She's quite combative. She has a lot to put up with in terms of the kind of style of politics that she's accustomed to. So yeah, she'll be sticking with her. This is in the national interest. This is the best deal. This is the only deal we're going to get, and she's going to be trying to guilt trip, I imagine, members of her own party, let alone the opposition, in order to back her.
Now, in the report we just broadcast, we can see that there are several groups that she's going to have to convince. So really, is she going to present her plan as different things to different people? I'm not entirely sure about that. I mean, she's going, as I said, I think she's going to stick to her script, and then it will be up to others, both in her party and government, in cabinet, in Parliament, to do some of the other work for her with their respective parties. It seems to me that she's going to, after Parliament, focus her attention really on the population at large. So she's going to, she's about to undertake she's already written her letter, as it were, her open letter. She's going to be supposedly touring the country, trying to persuade so-called ordinary people, those of us who voted, as it were, to think carefully about the deal. And I suppose she's hoping that people will put pressure on their constituency MPs to vote one way or another. She's been very present in the media. Just how unusual is that for Theresa May?
Yeah, that's a good question, really. I mean, I suppose it's in her previous position, so at the Home Office in particular as Home Secretary, she wasn't so present at all. But Brexit, as you know, has really been thrust to the front of British politics for what seems like an interminable length of time, and she has very much, to use that slogan, sort of taken control of it. And so it's perhaps a little less usual for her to be doing this national tour, this sort of communication PR type initiative, but she's certainly been on the job, as it were, on the Brexit job in a very visible way, day in, day out. So I suppose those people who follow the news in the papers, on the TV, on the radio, will be familiar to her, Theresa May, being the face of Brexit negotiations here in the UK.
Like you said, this process has been going on for quite a long time, and there's talk of a lot of people being bored of Brexit and they just want it to be over. Do you think that might work in Theresa May's favour? I mean, as we said, it's really going to be difficult to convince people in Parliament, but maybe just to get it over with, could it help her out in that sense?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I personally think sort of coming up with these acronyms, bored of Brexit and so on, you know, for a national politician to sort of almost try to make this into something humorous, I personally find that not a terribly statesman or stateswoman-like approach. But and of course that's part of their communication strategy, and I think there's something in that. You know, you're right to ask that question, because I would imagine that for a number of people who voted either to leave or to remain, you know, it might not have been clear that there was even going to have to be a negotiation in order to leave. I mean, those of us who knew, as it were, knew, but you know, why would people who are not familiar with, as was the case in the UK, talking about the EU, why would it be clear that there was going to be this protracted negotiation? And you do hear this expression, just get on with it. And again, it's really the fault of the government and those who campaigned to leave in particular, that there was probably not enough explanation up front around the fact that to leave would not just be walking out of the door and slamming it behind us. So I would imagine that in particular those who voted to leave, whether or not they like the withdrawal agreement is another matter, but I would imagine that yes, there will be some sort of sense of
relief at getting on with it and closing this chapter, because the opportunity cost of the last 2.5 years, things that could have been done if Brexit wasn't left, sort of at the centre of politics, that's quite high. So that the short answer is that is probably going to be quite a powerful communication / PR message. Let's just get on with it.
Now, we expect Parliament to vote on Brexit in a couple of weeks. What happens if Theresa May loses the vote?
So, I mean, I'm sure you're aware there are all sorts of scenarios which really come down, or partly come down, to parliamentary process. So she would be able to, well, first of all, there will be debates around it, which I suppose is a good thing. There is going to be time set aside in Parliament, and the debate itself can change the nature of people's minds, MPs' minds, but it's not a one. It's not she has more than one shot. She can try again to put the deal to Parliament and try to get another vote, and that I think that would probably be the most likely if she were to lose the initial vote. One thing that seems sure to me is that she's very unlikely to jump. Theresa May is going to have to be pushed very hard were she to actually sort of give up on this. So she'll be trying by any parliamentary means possible, as I said, first of all to try for a second attempt at a successful vote on the withdrawal agreement if it comes to that. There may be a move for a sort of a vote of confidence, if you like, to really put parliamentarians to put their money where their mouth is, as it were. She'll try every trick in the book, I imagine, to get this deal through. Her options are limited, but they're not. There are limited options on the table, and I would expect her to try them all.
All right. Well, thank you very much indeed for your time and your analysis, Helen Drake from Loughborough University. Thank you.